morning, everybody. It's truly an honor to be able to come and speak for you guys and speak with you guys. You know, my experiences and I guess my life has all been kind of heading towards dealing with and working with young people as yourselves, and so it's truly a blessing to be able to come and be in front of you guys today. I'm going to just share with you guys today my story. My name is Jahmaal. I am originally from Ogden, Utah, which is a not so small town. It's Fresno size, just north of Salt Lake City. And I grew up there in a Christian family. Both my parents were very active in the church, so I grew up going to church since I was born. Educated in the same church, everything like that. So I was fortunate to have a life that was rooted in God from the very beginning, and grew up, you know, very involved in the church. You know, I was kind of one of those everyday Christians. Whenever my parents were at church, I was at church. Mondays we were at a prayer meeting, and Tuesdays we were at a business meeting, and I mean every single day of the week my parents found a way to get us to church. So I'm very fortunate for that, in that now as I'm older I look back on those times and know that my foundation was set from the very beginnings, which was a huge blessing, and I didn't have to go through a lot of things that some people have to go through in soul searching and try to figure out what they believe and those things. I grew up with a very solid foundation, which was great for me. But as most kids do, I had a difficult time once I got to junior high and high school. I was kind of picked on, teased a lot. I was considered a nerd at the time. I still consider myself a nerd now, but a bigger, stronger, faster nerd. And so, you know, just teased a lot, picked on a lot, and that really kind of set me back, and I had some difficulties going through junior high and my first couple years of high school, which was actually when, you know, getting more involved in sports and things like that. I started playing football, and it was actually a football injury that brought me to crossing over to cheerleading, which is a huge, crazy jump. By any stretch of the imagination. So it was kind of interesting. It was something that I kind of fell into. A good friend of our family was our cheer director at my old high school, and she kind of called me out. I was sitting at a practice with her after I'd gotten into trouble. She was one of our, your LDs, your learning directors, whatever. She was in that capacity, and I had gotten in trouble, so I was hanging out with her, and we were at a cheerleading practice, and I saw we had guys on our team there, and you know, they're tossing girls around and stuff, and I'm making fun of them like everybody makes fun of bad cheerleaders. Told them that, you know what, that's not that hard, I can do that, whatever, and she said, prove it. So I was like, all right, whatever, go out there. It sucked, horrible, awful, I couldn't do anything, and so kind of bruised my ego a little bit, and so I came back the next day. The next day, and 14 years later, I'm still involved in cheerleading. I'm the varsity cheer coach here. I also coach at a all-star gym in town that does strictly competition cheer, the stuff you see on ESPN. That's what I coach. And so cheerleading was kind of my rescue of sorts. It gave me a lot of opportunities that I would never have had before. When I got out of high school, I started working with a company called USA, it's the United Spirit Association, and they teach camps in the summer that a lot of high school and junior high cheerleading programs go to. And it gave me the opportunity to meet a lot of people. It gave me the opportunity to travel a lot. I've been pretty much every state in the country at some point or another to either coach or to do choreography or to do, you know, judge competitions or safety certifications or what have you. I've also had the opportunity to travel out of the country. I've been to Canada for cheerleading. I actually went to Singapore to do safety certifications out there, and so it afforded me a chance to do a lot of different things, but it also gave me an opportunity to really see a lot of different things, a lot of different people, and the major reason why why I am in California now is because of my experiences with Chariots and people that I met who convinced me that Fresno, California was the place to be. And so I moved out here about 8 years ago, and as I look back on everything that's happened for me in my life, everything that kind of led me to this point, there's a verse that says that all things were recorded to the glory of the Lord, and for those called according to His purpose. And I think of that when I think of where I'm at now, because back when I first moved out here, I was very far from the Lord. I had not been to church in a long time. I was just kind of doing my thing, and a couple of different things happened in my life to some people very close to me. Some of my very good friends had their son born 5 years ago now. I kind of look at it as my return of grace situation, because their son was born with a genetic disorder called tuberous sclerosis, which is it's kind of a mysterious thing because it's been misdiagnosed for so long. It has seizure symptoms. It's kind of similar to it's got some autistic symptoms. So for a long time, people didn't know what it was. But when he was first born, there was a possibility that he wasn't going to make it because of the complications that he was having, because it affects different organs. He had some issues with his heart, and so they didn't know if he was going to make it. And I remember hearing that and going into my room and just kind of breaking down and praying for him. And I remember at that moment, and it still kind of gives me chills now thinking about it, because I was on my knees praying. I was praying hard. I was kind of crying. I was just kind of in a really vulnerable spot. But then I remember feeling the presence of the Spirit just really enveloped me. Felt like I was just getting this very comforting and nurturing hug, and I remember that experience as what really brought me back into my faith and brought me back to a purpose, or a point where I felt like my life really had a purpose, and I really had an opportunity to grow from that experience. And kind of from that point on, got my life back on track where I wanted to be spiritually, and got to a point where I was moving in the right direction, and I attribute a lot of my good and bad experiences to what I experienced through my life and through traveling and through those things that I've done with cheerleading. But I also look at cheerleading as an opportunity to be a mentor of sorts, a minister of sorts to people. I've dealt with a lot of people who have a lot of issues, and what a lot of people don't know when they look at, you see the facade of a cheerleader, you see, the stereotype that's put forth, and the problem with that is that there's a lot of issues that cheerleaders deal with that are a direct result of those, body issues and image issues and things like that. And I've been blessed to have an opportunity to really minister to several girls who were pretty messed up from those issues and from things that they had experienced as a result of, somebody saying they were too fat, or somebody saying that, they weren't quite cute enough, or this and this and that. And so, and where God has led me, He's always had me close to and working with youth, because for some reason it's just something that tugs on my heart when I see people in that vulnerable state, especially kids who don't have, the structure in their lives, people that may not have both their parents, people that may have grown up abused. There's just something fragile about those people, and so I've been blessed to have an opportunity to minister to people like that. So I think today, my admonition and my prayer for you guys is that, in this point in your life where you guys are still young and you still have a lot going on and things ahead of you in your life, it's a blessing to see that you were all here, because that means that there's a conviction in your life to not be afraid to gather together as young people with here is a blessing. To see all of you here, it does my heart good. And my prayer for you guys would be that you guys would continue in your walk, that you continue where you're at. It's not an easy path. It's not an easy road, and that's what the blessing in it is that you have to work for it every single day. You know, you have to really wake up in the morning and convict yourself and make that decision every single day that